Your body is part of your personal brand, whether you like it or not. But before you switch off, because that sounds vain, hear me out. I'm not saying you need to be shredded, obsessed with fitness, or walking around like your body is the only thing that matters in this life. That is not the point. The point is, if you're an ambitious professional, your body affects how you show up every single day. It affects your energy, your confidence, your presence, your standards, your self-respect, and how you feel with the level you're trying to actually operate at. People pick up on how you carry yourself. They pick up on whether you look exhausted and tired. You probably noticed it with other people. They pick up on whether you seem in control. They pick up on whether your lifestyle looks aligned with the career, the business, and the relationship and the life that you say you are building. So in this video, I'm going to break down why your body is part of your personal brand, why this has nothing at all to do with vanity, the 5 ways your body affects the way you perceive, the way you perform, and the way you feel about yourself, and exactly how to fix this. Because if you have worked hard to build a strong career, but your body, your energy, and your lifestyle do not reflect the same standard, eventually that gap is going to start to cost you. I'm Joey, the face behind the office coach. I help professionals build the body and lifestyle that matches their ambition. I spent over 10 years in the office environment myself, so I understand the reality of the long days, the back-to-back meetings, sitting for hours, quick lunches, caffeine to get through the afternoon, office beers, takeaways after work, telling yourself I'll sort it out on Monday and then repeating the same cycle again. But for the last 4 years, I've coached over 250 professionals through this exact transformation. People who didn't want to just lose weight, they wanted to feel like themselves again. They wanted more energy, more confidence, more control, and they wanted their body and lifestyle to match the level they were trying to reach in the rest of their life. So when I say your body is part of your personal brand, I'm not talking about ego at all. I'm talking about alignment. I'm talking about the gap between who you say you are becoming and how you currently feel when you look in the mirror, walk into a room, sit in a meeting, or show up for the people around you. So let me break this down properly. Here are 5 ways your body is part of your personal brand. Point 1, the first thing you need to understand is that your body communicates before you speak. That might sound a little bit harsh, but it is true. Before you say a word, people notice how you carry yourself. Your posture, for example, your energy, your presence, and whether you look fresh, ready to go, or you look pretty drained. And even whether you seem comfortable in yourself or you seem like you're trying to hide away in the corner. Now, this does not mean everyone is judging every single detail of your body. That is not what I'm saying at all. But people do form impressions, and in professional environments, impressions matter a lot. If you walk into a room looking exhausted, uncomfortable, and low on energy, that sends one clear message. However, if you walk into a room looking composed, confident, and in control, that sends another message. So the difference is not about being perfect, it's about your presence. A lot of professionals underestimate this because they think their career is separate from their body. They think as long as they're good at the job, the physical side doesn't really matter. But your body is the vehicle, the biggest asset you bring into every meeting, every sales pitch, every leadership conversation, every day, every social event, every family moment, and every opportunity in your life. So you cannot separate the two. So if your body feels heavy, tired, uncomfortable, and out of control, trust me, that comes with you, and people will know it just as much as you do. It changes how you sit, how you dress, how much you speak up, how visible you are willing to be, and how comfortable you feel being seen. You're probably noticing all of these. Think about it, right? Your body is always saying something. The question is it saying what you want it to say? And if you don't feel great, what do you think that is saying to others? And that leads to the second point. The way your body affects your personal brand is through energy, because your energy is part of your reputation, and energy is something we all feel off others. All of us have felt energy off different people before. People remember how they experience you. They remember whether you bring confidence or you start bringing a lot of chaos with you. Whether you come in seeming ready or you're looking flat as a pancake, or even whether you're present or distracted looking around the room thinking what to do. Whether you're switched on or constantly dragging yourself through the day. And for ambitious professionals, this matters more than most people like to admit, but I'm pretty honest with you. You're probably sat there right now nodding and agreeing thinking, I have noticed this. You can be intelligent, capable, and experienced, but if you're constantly tired, sluggish, and running on caffeine, you are not operating at your real level, I'll tell you that. Because you start getting used to waking up tired. You get used to the mid-afternoon crash. You get used to needing a coffee to feel human again. You get used to having no energy left after work. You get used to giving the best of yourself to your job and giving the leftovers to your body, your relationships, and your actual life, and all the people that you love. But just because something is normal does not mean it's acceptable. And that is where I draw the line. And this is where I want you to be honest with yourself. If your career is growing but your energy is declining, that's not success. It is one hell of a problem that we need to solve. You cannot build a high level career on a low energy body forever. At some point, the way you sleep, eat, train, manage stress, and structure your week starts to show in the way you perform. That is why inside the office body system, we do not treat energy as this nice little extra bonus that we all want to get. Energy is part of the transformation, because when your energy changes, your whole life changes. You speak differently, you make decisions differently, you train differently, you parent differently, you lead differently, you show up in relationships differently. So if your personal brand is the experience people have of you, then your energy is one of the biggest parts of that brand. And that brings us to point 3. The third way your body is part of your personal brand is that it reflects your standards. Again, not perfection, but standards is what we're talking about here. There is a difference. Perfection is unrealistic and usually insecure for a lot of people. Standards are how you choose to live when nobody's forcing you to live like that. And that is where a lot of professionals feel frustrated because they have high standards in their career, but when it comes to the body, that's where the low standards are. They're organised at work, but extremely reactive with food. They're disciplined with deadlines and inconsistent with training, and they manage teams, clients, projects, pressure. But when it comes to the body, they can't seem to manage their own energy, weight or routine. And after a while, that starts to create this internal friction in your mind because deep down, you know that you're capable of more. That's probably why you're watching this. You know you're not lazy. You know you can commit to hard things. You've done it many times in the past. So when your body doesn't reflect the same standard, it doesn't just affect how you look, it affects how you see yourself. And I don't think people talk about that part enough. But as I said, I'm very honest and I want to be honest with you. Carrying extra weight you do not want, feeling low on energy and avoiding certain clothes, hiding from photos, feeling uncomfortable on holiday, not wanting to be seen properly, that keeps chipping away at your self-image. And when your self-image drops, your personal brand drops with it, because the way you feel about yourself affects everything else in life. This is why I don't ever look at fat loss as just fat loss. For professionals that I work with, losing 20, 30, 40 pounds is often the visible result, but the real result, the deeper result, is getting their standards back. It is becoming the person who does what they say they would do. It's becoming the person who looks after themselves properly. It's becoming the person whose lifestyle reflects their ambition instead of doing the complete opposite. Now, that is the big win, and once you understand that, the next point becomes obvious. The fourth way your body affects your personal brand is confidence. But I'm not talking about the fake kind you'll see it everywhere every now and again. And I'm not talking about forcing yourself to be loud, positive or motivational. Confidence becomes easier when your actions match the person you say you want to be. When you do the stuff you say. When you were saying one thing publicly but living another thing privately, confidence becomes a lot harder because you're now lying to yourself. And you still might look successful from the outside, you know, we've all seen that. But inside, you know there's this big gap that you're trying to close. You know your clothes don't fit how you want them to. You know when you avoid mirrors. You know when you're tired all the time. You know when you're pretending everything is fine, but your body and lifestyle are telling a complete different story. Look, it can seem like the harsh reality, but I have to be honest with you because that gap is expensive and it costs you your presence, it costs you your self-trust, it costs you the confidence that comes from knowing you're handling your own life properly. And this is why body transformation is so powerful for professionals in this area, because it's not just about the weight loss, it is the self-trust you build whilst getting in shape. It is the identity change, because you go from I need to sort myself out to actually I am the kind of person who follows through. You start going from oh I'm too busy at the moment to I now have a system that works inside my life, and that is true confidence. It's evidence that you can trust yourself now, evidence that you can change, evidence that you are not just building a career, you are building a life you actually want to live in. The fifth way your body is part of your personal brand is that it shows whether your success is sustainable. Now, this is the one most ambitious people avoid because it is easy to look successful while running yourself into the ground. You can have the big title, the income, the responsibility, the business, the client base, the LinkedIn profile with all the connections, the meetings, the holidays, the nice meals, and still feel like you're unhappy with your body. And if that is the case, you need to be honest with yourself. That is not the lifestyle you actually want. Nobody wants that. It's just a lifestyle you're trying to escape from deep down, because real success shouldn't require you to sacrifice your health, your confidence and your energy and your self-respect to maintain it. And if you're constantly tired, gaining weight, living on convenience food, not training consistently, sleeping poorly and using weekends to recover from your weekdays, your body is telling you something loud and clear. It is showing you that your current system is not sustainable. But the answer is not to burn everything down and restart and have a full lifestyle overhaul. You don't need to quit your job, sacrifice your career or turn your life into one big fitness project. You just simply need a better system. That is it. A system that lets you build the body and lifestyle that matches your ambition. The goal is not to become someone who only cares about fitness. That's not really feasible. The goal is to become someone whose fitness supports the life they're trying to build. Your body should give you more life, not take more life from you. So, Joey, what do you actually do with all this? Because it's one thing saying your body is part of your personal brand, and it is another thing to build a lifestyle that actually reflects what we're saying. So the first step is to stop treating your body as some separate project from everything else. Your body is not something you deal with after work or when work calms down. It is part of how you perform while work and life is busy, as it always will be. The second step is to define the standard you actually want to live by. What does the professional version of you eat most days? How often do they train? How do they handle busy weeks? How do they manage alcohol, takeaways, travel, manage stress, manage meetings? What do they refuse to keep tolerating? Because if you do not define a standard, your environment will define it for you, as it already has done. And for most professionals, the usual environment is not designed for health. It's always designed for convenience, convenient food, long sitting, caffeine, stress, late nights, office drinks, Deliveroo, missed meals, random routines, Monday restarts, and that is why you need a system. Inside the Office Body system, we build around real life, your calendar, your meetings, your work demands, your social life, your stress, your current habits, and your actual starting point. Because a plan that only works when life is quiet is not a plan for ambitious people. We already know that. You need a system that works when life is busy. This is how your body starts to match your ambition and your career. And not by doing more random fitness stuff, but by building standards, structure, and identity to the life you already have. So if you take one thing from this video, take this. Your body is part of your personal brand, not because you need to be perfect, not because appearance is everything, and not because your worth is based on how you look, but because your body affects how you show up in life. 1, your body communicates before you speak. 2, your energy is part of your reputation. 3, your body reflects your standards. And then 4, your confidence is easy when you are matching with who you say you are. And then 5, your body shows whether your success is actually going to be sustainable. So if you have built a strong career but your body, your energy and your lifestyle do not reflect the same level, do not ignore that gap. That gap is not something to be ashamed of, it is something that needs solving. If you want help building a body and lifestyle that matches your career without sacrificing either, you can apply to work with us inside the Office Body system. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, because your body should not be the thing holding you back from the life you are working so hard to build. It should be part of the reason you are able to live it properly.